The one and only fourth Fox NFL Sunday is sponsored by Rocky Mountain Refreshing Coors Light, the official beer sponsor of the NFL and Super Bowl 40.
Giant Stadium on a beautiful, calm November day. It's Sunday. It's NFL football in this rematch of a bitter rivalry in the NFC East. The Philadelphia Eagles taking on the New York Giants. And now welcome to the broadcast booth, everybody. I'm Joe Buck, Troy Aikman, Pam Oliver in just a bit. It's desperation time for the Philadelphia Eagles, trying to get their first win within divisional play and trying to do it here at the Meadowlands against the Giants, and trying today to do it without Donovan McNabb, with Mike McMahon at quarterback.
Going with a young player in Mike McMahon, who has not played a lot of football. In fact, he hasn't even started a game in a couple of years, but the Eagles feel good about him. One, he knows the offense from his days back with the Detroit Lions, but he also brings some talent to that position. He's got great athleticism. He moves around in the pocket very well, something that Donovan McNabb was lacking because of the injuries that he had. But this team is very anxious to see how he's going to play. They really don't know what to expect exactly. I think the real key, however, Joe, is how this defense plays for Philadelphia. That's been the one thing that this organization's always been able to hang their hat on, but the defense has not been able to get enough pressure on the quarterback, and I think that's key here today against Eli Manning.
I think the Giants would look at last week as a missed opportunity, a chance to get a win over the Vikings. They dominated the game. The defense was fantastic, but they turned the ball over 5 times. Special teams was a mess. I mentioned the defense. It could not be playing any better right now for New York.
They've been exceptional here over the last 3 weeks. They have completely shut down opponents, and by doing that, they've allowed their offense to remain in games, and they've had opportunities to win games. Of course, coming off a very difficult loss last week against the Minnesota Vikings because of the turnovers, because of special teams play. But Eli Manning has struggled here in recent weeks, and he's going to have to play better, and he's hoping that he can get back on track here today.
So the question, can Philadelphia come out of here with the victory and at least keep some hope alive in the NFC East? How will the Giants play? Good battle today on Fox. Still waiting for the start of this game. The wind has picked up a little bit, but all in all, for Giant Stadium, a rather calm day. The coin toss at midfield. We'll figure out who's going to start with the football.
So you want to stay right where you are?
The Eagles will receive the opening kickoff. The flags are at half staff because of the passing of Robert Tisch this past week. 3 weeks after the Giants organization lost Wellington Mara. You see on the left side of that patch on the jersey for the New York Giants, now Preston Robert Tisch, passing away this past Tuesday at the age of 79. And what a job being a leader for Tom Coughlin. He has stepped out front and done an amazing job for this organization during a very troubling month. For more on what's going on with the Eagles situation as they try to stay alive in the NFC East, let's go down to Pam Oliver.
Hey there, Joe. You know for a fact that the Eagles just want to get back to playing football, preferably drama-free. Brian Westbrook told me as much when I talked to him before the game. He says it is time for us to put all of these distractions behind us and just start winning. You may have heard of some Eagles players saying that they want Terrell Owens back on the team this week. Well, Westbrook said it has been tough because he's close to T.O. and he's close to Donovan. Of course, neither one of those players near this building today on a day that the Eagles could use all the help they could get. Back to you.
All right, Pam, thank you. And we will get the early look at Brian Westbrook and, of course, Mike McMahon, who we last saw as a starter in this league with the Detroit Lions. He will be making his 8th NFL start. He has a career record of 1-6. And there's Jeremiah Trotter, one of the best middle linebackers in the game, and a guy who this past week has been very vocal, saying that his teammates would welcome Terrell Owens back. We'll talk more about that later. Right now it's Rod Hood from inside the 10. Roderick gets it out to just shy of the 30 as he stumbled down. Had a couple of extra yards out in front of him, but lost his footing. And here comes Mike McMahon. As Troy Aikman talked about, and you can talk about it now, we've got a guy who is a tremendous athlete at quarterback. How good's the arm? How well will he run the offense? You don't know, but you know this: he's going to move around better than McNabb has the past few weeks.
Yeah, in fact, Tim Lewis, the defensive coordinator for the New York Giants, said outside of Michael Vick, he's probably the most athletic quarterback in the National Football League.
That was Westbrook in motion, and McMahon's going to start with a run. Drop back, looked in Westbrook's direction, and then took off. And you look at the defense scrolling across the bottom of the Fox box, and these defensive ends, at least in the NFC, as good as it gets with a combination of Strahan and Umenyiora.
Yeah, I think when you look at this defense and what they've been able to accomplish here over the last 3 games, they've held every opponent in the last 3 weeks under 140 yards of total offense. That's absolutely phenomenal in the National Football League. A lot of that coincides with the play of Michael Strahan and O.C. Umenyiora.
2nd down and 7, and the pass at the feet of Brian Westbrook. It's 3rd down and 7. The defense for the Giants and the statistics that they're piling up are eye-popping. Last 3 games, no touchdowns allowed. First time they've done that since '96. How about 1959? The last time they had held 3 consecutive opponents to a total of 400 yards, a total. And they just have given up no points, that total of 9.
Well, and I think the cynic would point to maybe some of the teams that they've played offensively, but that was standing. When you're able to accomplish the things that they've been able to defensively in this league against any opponent, it's pretty impressive.
This league's filled with cynics. Are you a cynic?
I think I am.
Are you a cynical guy? I don't think so. I would not put you in that category. An early timeout for McMahon to talk about a 3rd and 7.
Fox NFL Sunday is sponsored by Southwest Airlines, proud sponsor of the NFL and official airline of Super Bowl 40.
After the moment of silence to begin this day on the field, crowd a little quiet at the start. We'll see if they get into it on 3rd down and 7 and try to make it tough on Mike McMahon. Pretty Mike, they used to call him at Rutgers. And Pretty Mike try to come up with his first completion of the day. Avoids the rush, try to run for it, and he is smacked. Hit by Pierce. Pressured by Strahan, and Pierce was there to clean it up.
Giants doing a pretty good job of coverage. We've already seen now of the 3 plays, Mike McMahon having to try to gain something with his feet. Takes a big shot by Antonio Pierce there. Oh, but the Giants again able to get pressure on Mike McMahon by rushing just 3 defenders.
Reggie Hodges, who started this season in St. Louis, punts it away. Morton. Chad out to the 34. An 8-yard return by Morton, and we will stay right here. And now the Giants offense, and around here, talk about cynics and people questioning what guys are doing. Everybody all of a sudden, and maybe for good reason, is on the back in the case of Eli Manning.
Well, Eli had a difficult game last week against Minnesota and made some poor throws and then missed some guys when he had some opportunities. Special teams obviously didn't play as well either, but he's been asked a lot of questions this week as to what went wrong, and I still think that he's doing quite well.
Drops it off to Tiki Barber. They set up a screen, and Barber's got plenty for a 1st down. He's up just shy of the 49. He picked up 15 as you watch the Eagles defense and their lineup scroll across your screen.
You know, Eli Manning obviously heavily scrutinized here in the city of New York, and a lot of expectations that come with having the name Manning. But, you know, even in games when he's not played particularly well, the one thing that he has done is late in games, he's given his team an opportunity to win, and he did that again last week.
Handoff is to Barber, and Barber is brought down. Trent Cole in on the stop, the guy who had a couple of sacks last week on the Monday night effort against the Dallas Cowboys, and you know how that game ended. It was just shocking, and to think where the Eagles would be without that span of what, 20+ seconds where the game just completely turned around. This could be a battle for 1st place. Instead, everybody thinks if the Eagles don't win today, their season is over.
It's amazing what the difference of one play would make on the interception. If the Eagles were able to win that game, people would be talking about how they're back on track.
2nd down and 10. The pass complete to Burris. And Burris gets it into Philadelphia territory, got 4. And that really is the way, Troy, things have gone in the NFC East this year. The Giants lost in overtime earlier in the year at Dallas, a game that went back and forth at the end. They lost in the 48-yarder last week against Minnesota. Washington lost 36-35 on the 2-point try and conversion by the Bucs. And Dallas, 2 touchdowns in 21 seconds to defeat the Eagles. They lost to Washington week 2, and they allowed 2 touchdowns in 71 seconds. 3rd down and 6. Good pocket for Manning. It's off the arms of Toomer. And fans here might have had flashbacks to last week. Toomer was open, the pass a little behind him, and the incompletion brings up 4th down.
Still one that Amani Toomer should have been able to bring in. The Eagles go with a 4-man rush, and they've not been able to get pressure on quarterbacks when they've done that so far this year. Eli Manning had plenty of time to step up into the pocket. Actually pretty fortunate that ball did not get intercepted. But if you think back to last week's game, a number of occasions in that game to where Eli put the ball where it needed to be, and then they would drop him on 3rd downs.
Penalty flag on the punt, which is down at the 1. David Tyree, who is the best special teams player and who has been missing for a couple of weeks.
Kicking team, number 34. 10-yard penalty. Repeat, 4th down.
Derek Ward, a 2nd-year player, held on the punt. So instead of the Eagles and McMahon starting at their own 1 with their 2nd possession, it's time to try it again for Fiegels. And we flashed the statistic. It's almost like he feels like he has to apologize for the fact that he's playing in his 282nd consecutive game, which ties an NFL record held previously all alone by Jim Marshall, the defensive end for the Vikings.
Well, I know Ted Cottrell, who was a coach on one of the teams that Jeff Fiegels played for, and he said there should be an asterisk next to the record because he's a punter and he's not an every down player. But I can tell you that when you played in that many games as Jeff Fiegels has, it doesn't matter what position you're playing. It's pretty impressive.
Think about the hit he suffered last year at the hands of Jeremiah Trotter. He didn't miss a game the next week after a nasty hit and the concussion. So Fiegels gets another crack at it. And Reno Mahe this time takes it from inside the 15. And got it out to the 19-yard line. The penalty on Derek Ward costing the defense a situation where they would have been facing the Eagles at the Philly 1. There's the hold by Derek Ward. No score.
Fox NFL Sunday is sponsored by Bud Light. Smooth and refreshing. Bud Light. Great taste, great times.
3 and out the first time the Eagles had the ball. They start at their 19. And they hand it to Westbrook. And Westbrook got maybe half a yard. Brought down by Emmons. Former Eagle, and for Carlos Emmons, his first time back in the lineup after missing 3 games with a slightly torn pec.
Yeah, they've had a number of issues there at the linebacker position. Carlos Emmons having missed the last 3 games and then missed a game earlier in the season as well. And Nick Bryson, who's been playing weak side linebacker, and Reggie Torber, he's also been a guy who has been playing this year, but he got hurt and now he's not active today, and so they've been shuffling a lot of guys there along those 3 positions all season. 2nd down and 9. Westbrook can't hang on. Emmons was there to make the hit. 3rd down and 9 for the Eagles, and let's go for a game break. JB.
Hey, Joe Buck, after a Carolina pick thrown by Jake Delhomme, the Bears capitalized when rookie quarterback Kyle Orton finds former Panther Musa Muhammad with that 3-yarder. Battle of division leaders right now. Bears at home on top by a touch. Back to Joe, Troy, and Pam.
All right, JB, thanks.
That's a big game, too. I mean, when you talk about Tampa Bay and Atlanta playing each other today, and if Carolina were to lose, then somebody could be tied for first place in that Tampa-Atlanta game.
3rd down and 9. Extra men on the rush. The pass is floated and caught. One-handed grab by Lewis. What a catch by Greg Lewis, and that's good for 26 yards and a first down.
It was a great catch by Greg Lewis and a good job of Mike McMahon giving him an opportunity. Greg Lewis working against Curtis DeLoach, and he just gets by him a little bit underthrown on the ball. But good concentration by Greg Lewis. Contact made. Good concentration, good focus, and being able to make that reception. And those are the types of plays that these receivers are going to have to make for Mike McMahon today.
On first down, they hand to Westbrook. Westbrook out to the 49. The running game for the Eagles came alive last week out of nowhere. 181 yards against Dallas for a part of this offense that had been missing all year.
Did a great job running the football, both with Lamar Gordon and Brian Westbrook. Mixed it up very well. We're almost very balanced 50-50 in terms of run-pass ratio. And, you know, when you talk about how someone needs to step up and make plays for a quarterback who's trying to get his feet on the ground, if Reggie Brown makes a catch at the end of last week's game against Dallas, they win that game.
Second down and 6. Westbrook again tries the right side. And he's brought down 2 yards shy of a first down. Picked up 4. Emmons has been busy. Seen him all over the field already. And Carlos said coming into this game, if not for the injury to Reggie Torbor, who had surgery on a hernia, he probably wouldn't be playing today.
Yeah, it's a good thing that he's healthy enough to be able to step into the lineup, even though he's not 100%. At least he is able to go, because they were going to be hurting if they couldn't get Carlos Emmons on the field because of the injury to Torbor.
It's third down and 2. McMahon has it knocked out of his hands, gets it back and fires for a first down. McMullen makes the catch. Somehow McMahon, who had it knocked away by Strahan, got it back and had the presence to get it out to McMullen.
Yeah, Strahan, he's working against John Runyon and then fullback help as well, but he's able to get the hand on the ball on Mike McMahon. But Mike McMahon gets a good bounce by the ball coming back up into his hands, and being, you know, he shows his athleticism there, just being able to keep his balance and at the same time being able to locate McMullen, because if he had not been able to find McMullen, they would not have been able to pick up the first down and keep this drive alive.
McMahon fires low in the direction of Westbrook. Another game break. Let's go to JB in Los Angeles.
All right, partner, take a look at Dallas capitalizing off of a 14-play, 84-yard drive there. Marion Barber. Boy, is he displaying well. 6-yard TD run. Cowboys on top of Detroit, 7-0 back to Joe Buck.
All right, JB, and you look at the NFC East. Dallas at 6-3, tied with the Giants. Those two teams will hook up here in a couple of weeks. Second down and 10. Westbrook, not much. A couple, that's all. Umanura on the tackle, and it's another 3rd and long for Mike McMahon.
You know, we saw the timeout there in that first possession that Mike McMahon had to burn, and what appears to be happening is that he's not hearing the calls coming in from Andy Reid on the sidelines into his helmet. They've got the coach quarterback communication system, and when that's not working the way that it should, then the plays aren't getting in. They got to then start hand signaling, and that may explain why they had the timeout, and then also why some of these plays are getting in late currently.
Third down and 9, screen, and it's broken up. Strahan got in there again. And this might be the team that relies on the screen more than any other across the NFL. The Giants were waiting for this. They expected all day, and Strahan knocked it down.
Well, and Michael Strahan just does a good job of, once he recognizes that he can't get to the quarterback and put a hit on him, go ahead and get your hands in the air and see if you can't get your hands on the ball, and that's what he was able to do.
Hodges, his second punt. It looks pretty. How good is it? Real good. Downed by Roderick Hood. 38-yard punt. Great effort by Hodges as the Giants will take over at their own 3. No score. The Giants ask Eli Manning to do so much at the line of scrimmage. Arrange the protection, look at the defense. this week more than any other. He's calling more plays at the line of scrimmage depending on what the Eagles defense is doing. And here he is backed up at his own 3. Handing it off to Tiki Barber, cuts it back, good run. Gets him a little breathing room out across the 8, just shy of the 9, got 6.
You know, it doesn't look like much as far as the yards gained, but this is the type of stuff that Tiki Barber does on a regular basis. You watch him here at tailback, and the moves that he's able to make. This is an offensive line that really does not overpower a lot of people. They get on the right people, but it's up to Tiki to try to navigate his way with his quickness and pick up yards, and it was a great example of it on that run.
2nd down and 4. Barber again stumbled a bit. Gets it out across the 10. 3rd down coming up for the Giants as Barber got 2.
And I think you go back to that punt by the Giants and the penalty that was called on the play. They would have had the Eagles pinned down there on the 1-yard line, but because they had to repunt due to the penalty, all of a sudden the Giants got good field position there, or excuse me, the Eagles did on the 19, moved the ball, and this is a game of field position, and because of the Eagles being able to pick up some first downs, they now have been able to regain field position by pinning the Giants back in their own territory.
And it's 3rd down and 2. Blitz coming from Trotter. Barber gets it, and he is dropped. That's Michael Lewis, the safety who came up to make the stop. A loss of 1 on the play, and a punt coming from New York.
You know, Jeremiah Trotter, who's probably playing as well as he ever has at any point in his career, this is what he does best. He tries to time the snap as best he can, and by doing that, he didn't make the tackle. Michael Lewis did, but what he did do is he took up 2 blockers, the center and the guard, which allowed Michael Lewis the free run there in order to make the play.
Westbrook is back to return the punt. He's had some success doing that here against the Giants. Takes it in at his own 45. Penalty flag flies in as Westbrook gets it to the 41. Deloach on the stop, but will check the flag. Indication is it's against Philadelphia.
During the return of the kick, holding receiving team number 85. 10-yard penalty, 1st down.
So Westbrook has a decent return, erased. A penalty by Darnarian McCants. Philly has it, no score.
Fox NFL Sunday is sponsored by the new Sprint, the official telecommunications service sponsor of the NFL. By Taco Bell, think outside the bun. By Samsung, the official HD TV of the NFL. And by Nissan, who invites you to shift the way you move through the world.
It is a beautiful day in the New York area. 3rd possession for the Eagles. No score. And McMahon trying to set up a screen. Looked like he threw it right into the helmet of Humanura. Let's go down to Pam Oliver.
Well, hey, Joe, there's a whole bunch of activity on the Eagles sideline. At least there was, as the Eagles equipment managers furiously tried to get that communication system inside Mike McMahon's helmet up and running. They gave him a backup helmet, but it didn't seem to fit his head, so they had to do some alterations on that. They got everything worked out, but the last time they were on the field, Coy Detmer was actually giving in those signals, making those body gestures that Troy loves so much.
2nd down and 10.
Not much of a backup helmet if it doesn't fit.
It's John Hatfield, the backup, or rather the equipment manager, looking and listening to that helmet. Nice try by Brown, but out of his reach. This game, Aikman, has started not with a bang but a whimper. Go run out on the field and do something. Get this crowd into the game.
Yeah, this shocks me. I mean, I played here a lot of years, but I've never seen this stadium as quiet as what it is currently. They're sitting here and it's like they're waiting for something big to happen. They're waiting for something to give them a reason to cheer about. But you're right. Both teams actually are even playing like that as well.
There you go. Those two are going to start it. It's got to start somewhere. 3rd down and 10. Blitz coming from the Giants. McMahon throws, and it's almost a pick for Strahan. Strahan, who dropped into coverage, was back there, and the only one close to it. Jabril Wilson had pressure on McMahon, and another punt coming from Philadelphia.
Well, I'm not sure what Mike McMahon saw, because Michael Strahan, it's a zone blitz, and so he drops off, but there's no receiver in the area. And so Mike McMahon comes out and just threw it. Looked like he thought that Michael Strahan was his receiver. And I know Eagle fans have seen enough of those types of throws here in recent weeks, and Mike McMahon gives them another one.
Ugly punt off the foot of Hodges, but a good roll. Nothing gets a crowd into the game like a battle for field position. Strahan came so close. Oh, no score. You are watching Fox Sports, broadcasting in HD and presented by DirecTV. Rethink TV. Well, what's it going to be this time for the Giants? And Eli Manning starting at their own 12. That's 4 consecutive Tiki Barber runs, and Tiki gets it out across the 15 to the 17. Gain of 5. Jones on the stop. Game break. Here's JB.
So Buck Falcons deep in their own territory. Mike Vick stepped on by his guard, pounded on by the Bucs defense, goes to the sideline to tend to the injury for a play. Matt Schaub comes in. Simeon Rice strips the ball in the end zone. Booger McFarland recovers in the end zone. 10-0 Tampa Bay over Atlanta. Back to Joe Buck.
All right, JB. So the Tampa defense had a very good week last week in the win against Washington. I think Cole came across too early. Ball. But that defense with a score today for the Bucs.
Offside. Defense unabated to the quarterback. 5-yard penalty.
The pause to see if it's enough for a first down.
And the result of the penalty will be a first down.
There it is. First down on the penalty for Trent Cole. The Eagles-Giants today. 5 combined possessions, 5 punts, 77 total yards.
Well, and part of that's to be expected by Philadelphia. I know Mike McMahon, all he's been told all week long is don't make a mistake. Just slowly work your way into the game. If it's not there, throw it away. He almost threw it in the hands of Strahan earlier.
Tiki Barber over the left side. And after an extra hit by Dhani Jones, Shockey's helmet comes flying off. He's looking for a penalty. And there is nothing on the ground in the way of a flag.
Well, and there should be. I mean, I don't know how the helmet comes off and then gets launched about 30 yards downfield without somebody throwing.
Wow. That's Keith Adams. Keith Adams just ripped it off the head of Jeremy Shockey. And it was completely missed by this crew.
Well, how you miss that, I'm not sure, because out of that pile, all of a sudden his helmet went flying 20, 30 yards downfield.
It's 2nd down and 4. Now they play action. Manning gets hit as he let it go. There's a flag on the play. The pass incomplete. Another flag. And somehow Manning is able to get up after a hit from N.D. Kalu. So 3 different levels of this play. Manning got drilled. 2 flags, including 1 down the field, as Manning threw it in the direction of Amani Toomer, who was covered by Michael Lewis.
Yeah, and N.D. Kalu, he came in low at the knees of Eli Manning. Took a pretty good hit on him, actually. I thought that maybe he might get called for taking Eli down low, but it did look like he was blocked.
Holding defense number 24. This penalty is declined. Pass interference. Defense. This penalty is accepted. Ball will be placed at the spot of the foul. Automatic first down.
First, go back to the hit on Manning.
Yeah, well, N.D. Kalu, the defensive end, and he gets by Luke Pettigrew, and he didn't really get blocked into him, but usually the referee will throw the penalty on that play when you hit a quarterback down low. Now, here's what happened on the other side. I got to tell you, that looks like it's on Amani Toomer, if you ask me. Sheldon Brown was in good position on the play to defense it.
Eagles change up their defensive call after showing the blitz too early. Kurtz coming, and the pass ends up in the hands of McKenzie.
Boy, every lineman dreams of getting a ball like that, don't they?
Oh, my gosh.
I mean, Javon Curse just comes flying off the edge, and he's working against McKenzie, and that's why McKenzie was trailing him. Gets the hit on Eli Manning. The ball pops up perfectly, and McKenzie takes off, and he tries to get some yards. Generally, these offensive linemen, coaches will tell them, hey, if you get the ball, go to the ground, because the first thing that happens, they're going to get tackled, and generally the ball comes loose. Good job of hanging on to it, but not a good job of blocking and giving up the hit by Javon Curse.
Yeah, McKenzie gave it up as Curse blew by him and then is able to get at least in a position to get that loose ball, and looked like that would have been a fumble. Now Barber is brought down in the backfield by Cole, who's starting to make his presence felt on this Philly defense. Mentioned the 2 sacks on Monday night. He gets the start today. A loss of 4, and the Giants are going backward after getting the break on what looked like a bad call against Michael Lewis.
Well, and it's because of Trent Cole's play last week that earned him the start this week, and just does a good job of not allowing the cutback for Tiki Barber and continuing to stretch him down to the sideline. And they need his performance like what he had last Monday night again today.
3rd down and 15. Manning steps up and fires to a wide open receiver. That's Toomer. And it depends on the spot. The officials get together, huddle it up, and we're going to have a measurement.
Well, Eli Manning does a good job because Burris is going to come underneath here, and then you've got the square in behind it. He could have gone to Burris right away, but because he had protection and because he knew he had 3rd and long, that he does not pick up the first down if he does throw it to Burris. By hanging on to the ball and waiting on Toomer to come in behind it, he then is able to at least give himself a position, and they got it to pick up the first down.
So a couple of things happen. Toomer gets enough for a first down. He gets his 500th career reception, first Giant ever to accomplish that. And by the nose of the football, gets a fresh set of downs just outside the 15-yard line.
You know, and Amani Toomer, who was not real involved in this offense earlier in the year, has really started to make his presence felt. Last week, had a number of balls thrown in his direction, caught most of those, and then has already gotten a couple of receptions here today.
On first down, quick throw. Toomer again. Gets 3, and that'll be it for the first quarter here at Giant Stadium. There is no score. The NFL on Fox will continue after a word from your local Fox station. Well, a 47-yard penalty factors in heavy as this drive continues for the Giants. We start the second quarter. There is no score, and the Giants are making their 40th trip into the red zone. That leads the NFL. Here are the offensive leaders for the Giants to this point. And in case you're wondering, the touchdown percentage not that good for New York. They're 20th in the NFL, cashing it in. 2nd down and 7. That's Shockey. Manning fires into double coverage for Burris. And it's incomplete. One-on-one on the outsides, and Manning throws into double coverage. A dangerous throw.
You know, Joe, you go back to that pass interference that was called, and you know, Amani Toomer, and he's working against Lito Shepherd, but what you're going to see, I believe it was Michael Lewis, who's actually inside, and he's got great position on the ball, and he has every right to the football as much as what Amani Toomer does, and I thought that was a poor call, but that's how this Giants offense has gotten down here into this position in the red zone.
Now faced with a 3rd down and 7, they hand to Tiki Barber, doing all he can, but he'll come up short. He gets it down inside the 10 to the 8, and it's 4th down.
And I think to go back to the play before, and your point, Joe, that you're right. Eli Manning has shown a propensity here in the last couple of weeks of really forcing the ball. Last week, of course, the interception in a ball that was attempted to go to Plexico Burris that was returned for the touchdown, and then the ball that he threw there in double coverage trying to, again, fit one into Plexico Burris. And I think Tom Coughlin said, let's just run it and settle for a field goal.
26-yard try to put the Giants on top. So we will take a break. The Giants have the first points of the day. 3-0 New York.
Fox NFL Sunday is sponsored by Cadillac. Introducing the new 2006 DTS Cadillac Breakthrough. By the City Simplicity Credit Card. City, live richly. By Verizon Wireless, it's the network. And by Miller Lite. On your next beer run, grab some great tasting, less filling Miller Lite. Miller, good call.
The Eagles about to get the ball back. Last time they had it, 3 incompletions. Only 19 seconds came off the clock. It was their second 3 and out. And their 3 possessions so far. Line drive kick by Feely, and it is taken by Hood. Roderick Hood crosses the 30, and he's out to the 34-yard line. We will be in Detroit on Thanksgiving.
What is this? I don't have a pet, so maybe this will be my pet.
Our Thanksgiving Day special, Atlanta, Detroit, Thursday, 11:30 a.m. Eastern on Fox.
Some lucky player again this year will be receiving the gobbler.
First down and 10. Handoff is to Gordon, and he is met in the backfield by Kendrick Clancy, and a loss of 4.
You know, Kendrick Clancy is a guy that they brought in from Pittsburgh, and he knew Tim Lewis's system because it's the same one that they ran there with the Steelers, and he's working against Jamal Jackson, who's only making his second NFL start, and he just gets right by him. Jamal Jackson does not do a very good job there at all, and Jamal Jackson's going to have his hands full with Kendrick Clancy. He's a very powerful, quick guy, as we just saw, and didn't give the runner much of a chance on that one.
Is to Gordon, and Lamar Gordon is hit by Brent Alexander. A gain of 6. Let's go for a game break in JB.
Hey, Joe Buck, Patriots have scored on their first 2 possessions. This one in the first quarter. Play action. Brady hooking up here with Deion Branch for a 7. Then in the second quarter, play action again. This one to Mike Vrabel. And the Patriots looking for their first back-to-back victories this season. Up 14-0 over the Saints. Back to Joe Buck.
All right, JB, thanks. Who would have thought coming in the AFC East at this point be the weakest division in the AFC. 3rd down and 8 here for McMahon. He dropped it. Able to get it back, but Robbins brings him down. And this has been a very poor start for Mike McMahon and this Eagles offense. They are doing nothing.
Well, he's been fortunate in that at least he's been able to recover these fumbles. The first knocked out of his hands by Michael Strahan. This one looked like he just laid it on the ground without anybody knocking it out of his hands. And we've got somebody on the ground.
Artis Hicks. Artis Hicks is down.
You know, Trey Thomas, their left tackle, he came up limping after the second down play. And now you've got Artis Hicks down after this one.
4th down for the Eagles when we come back. Artis Hicks is able to get up and walk off under his own power prior to this punt coming from Reggie Hodges. So far, the best thing that Mike McMahon has been able to do in this game is recover his own fumbles. Hodges kicking it into what wind there is here at Giant Stadium. And that's Chase Blackburn, who ends up with the ball in his arms. Good field position for the Giants out at their own 42, already leading the Eagles by 3.
Fox NFL Sunday is sponsored by General Motors.
It's 3-0, the Giants out in front. 12 minutes, 17 seconds left in this first half. And the Giants, who come in with a record of 6-3, taking on the 4-5 Eagles. Good field position to start this possession. Play action from Manning. He's in trouble, and down goes Manning, and out comes the ball. Cole couldn't pick it up. Cole gets knocked to the ground, and the Giants are able to get back on top of it with Tiki Barber recovering it. Trent Cole, instead of falling on the football, tried to pick it up and run with it, didn't get it. Kearse is slow to get up, and then Cole was knocked to the ground in his effort to try to get back to the football, and Barber was there to fall on it for the Giants.
Well, they're trying to get a shot down the field to Plexico Burris, and he's double teamed there by Lito Shepherd along with Brian Dawkins, and Eli starts to look back to the left there to Amani Toomer, and there was just nowhere for him to go with the football, and he ran into a pile of green shirts, and then the ball comes out, and I'm not sure exactly what happened to Javon Kearse, but he went down.
Now it's 2nd down and 34, and the handoff is to Ward. And Derek Ward goes backward and loses a yard, and this crowd is booing, and I don't blame them because they're coming off a week against Minnesota where the offense moved the ball but turned it over 5 times, and they missed what was sitting there as a victory against the Vikings. Now they come out, and the Philadelphia story is one thing with everything going on with the Eagles, but this offense is not doing anything.
Well, the attention all week nationally has been what the Eagles have been having to deal with, but I know in talking with Tom Coughlin, he said that this has been a very difficult week, and even on Wednesday this team had still not gotten over the loss to Minnesota, and the way they're playing today doesn't look like they're over it now.
More pressure on Manning, and down he goes, and it's Cole yet again. Darwin Walker, Trent Cole. Cole gets the sack, and a loss of 7 to bring up 4th down for the Giants.
Well, Trent Cole is really coming on strong. Again, he's going against Luke Pettigrew, and you can see Luke Pettigrew just does not get his feet to where he can get in a good position against Trent Cole, and Cole goes right around him, and if they're starting to be able to get pressure with their front 4, the Giants are going to be in for an awfully long day.
4th and 42. Eagles a line drive punt. Westbrook. He goes backward, and a flag comes in. Chase Blackburn down the field to make the tackle. A return of -2 yards, and we'll check the marker. Curtis DeLoach, if you ask Tim Lewis, playing the best of all the cornerbacks that the Giants have, is down and in pain. See what happened to DeLoach, number 39, right in the middle.
DeLoach was a little banged up coming into the game and takes the shot, and I'm not sure exactly. It looks like he's reaching for his hip, but certainly in a great deal of discomfort. And he's another one of those guys that this team just really cannot afford to lose. You mentioned that he's the best.
During the return of the kick, illegal block in the back, receiving team number 59. 10-yard penalty, 1st down.
So despite the lead, which the Giants have at 3-0, this has been a frustrating start for the team that's tied for 1st in the division. Barber a little banged up coming off the field. Shockey disgusted with the first half here at Giant Stadium. We saw Artis Hicks limp off with an issue with his right leg earlier. So that means Adrian Clark is taking over at left guard. The Eagles starting with it at their own 35. Play action, McMahon trying to find somewhere to go with it, and it's Westbrook who sneaks out, makes the catch, gets a 1st down, picked up 12. Mike McMahon, a 5th-year pro out of Rutgers, resides in Miami's South Beach. This is just your chance to learn more about Mike McMahon. Likes to wakeboard. His only other job other than football being a caddy, and his idol as a kid, Jim McMahon. He completed one to Westbrook. Now he hands to Westbrook, and Emmons is in there along with Bryson. A loss of 1 on that carry by Westbrook. It just looks at the start here like the game's going 100 miles an hour to McMahon, and Mike is going about 65.
Well, and that's what happens for a young quarterback. The hardest thing for a young guy, and he's not necessarily that young, but in terms of playing experience he is trying to get the game to slow down. And so you come into a game, your adrenaline's going, you're excited, you're looking forward to it, and you got to calm yourself down a little bit, and that's what it looks like he's been trying to do here throughout the first half of this game.
2nd down and 11, a quick setup and throw, and he completes it to his former teammate at Rutgers, L.J. Smith, and that marks the first time in NFL history that a Rutgers quarterback has thrown to a former Rutgers receiver. And that makes James Gandolfini happy wherever he's watching, in Jersey or New York or wherever.
Well, in order to make this completion, then Mike McMahon had to hang in the pocket, and he takes a pretty good lick. And, you know, when you talk about trying to get a quarterback to be able to settle down, part of being able to do that means not getting hit, because the more you get hit, then you start feeling more and more urgency, and the game starts getting more and more faster.
3rd down and 5. Pass is out of the reach of Westbrook. It was actually a decent pass, and Westbrook got his hands up a little late.
Yeah, you know, when you watch these Eagles, and not just here today, but in several games, when they have opportunities for big plays, they've just not been able to connect on a lot of these types of throws. And, you know, not a great throw, but I'm not so sure that Brian Westbrook couldn't have made that catch if he runs through the ball. But had he have been able to make it, there was a lot of field in front of him.
Hodges punts it away. Chad Morton with a fair catch. Andy Reid told us he almost called you coming into this game to go play quarterback. Troy, turn your cell phone off. I don't want to do this game by myself. 3-0 Giants out in front. 3-0 Giants have the football. Joe Buck, Troy Aikman, and I think Andy was kind of serious when he said he thought about maybe calling you to come in.
Yeah, no, I don't think that he was. I think
but it made you feel good.
Well, it does, yeah. I mean, you always want to be wanted. You know, the thing that surprised me about this game, though, is that I thought, even though the Eagles have lost the last 2 games they've played, I thought in those games they played with great emotion and great energy, and something that I had not seen from this team except for last year. And this game, they absolutely have none of that, and I don't know exactly what the reason is for that.
Look at what Chicago's doing to Carolina, 13-0, and Tampa Bay still leading 10-0. This crowd rejoices with Visanthe Shenko's reception, good for 15 yards. Arizona has tied St. Louis. Yes, sir, go ahead.
I was going to say, one of the few big plays for either team, really. I mean, they're able to get Eli Manning out on the corner off of the naked, and a good job by Visanthe Shenko getting into that intermediate zone and then the completion, but just not a lot of big plays so far here in this first half.
Barber. Barber pushes it across the 40, gained 5. So far today, we've seen 9 possessions, 8 punts and a field goal, 5 3-and-outs. And again, I mean, it's easy to pick on McMahon, and that's not what you want to make it, because you think about the Eagles, they had a short week after playing on Monday night anyway. They again have to deal with all the Terrell Owens stuff, and they've got Andy Reid testifying for 4 hours and answering questions on Friday instead of preparing the Eagles to come here and play a game that they have to win. So it's too easy to just look at McMahon, and maybe he can get his feet underneath him and play better. Here's Toomer and a face mask on Trotter. Toomer, a catch good for 8 yards, a first down, and you can tack on some yards at the end as Trotter got a handful of face mask.
Grabbing the face mask, defense, number 54. 5-yard penalty will be added to the end of the run. First down.
Well, you can see Amani Toomer, he's coming out, and he's just going to run a curl route, and Eli puts it right on his chest, and that's the grab right there. I'm not so sure he got his face mask. It looked like he actually got his arm. I didn't see that the hand actually went to the face mask, but to go back to what you were saying, Joe, as far as these Eagles and what they've been through and the hearings that took place on Friday and what Andy Reid has had to do, players, I've always believed, are very resilient. And I don't think that's a very good excuse for this team, at least so far, coming out and playing the way that they're playing here today. Yeah, all of those things have taken place, but as professionals, when you get into the game, you go play.
A blitz coming from the Eagles. Eli Manning lets it fly for Burris, and it's incomplete. Brown almost came down with the interception. 2nd down and 10. Well, let's say this. You had plenty of distractions over the weeks when you were playing with the Dallas Cowboys with all that was going on in that organization at the time. But if there's ever any excuse for any team to be distracted with all that the Eagles have had to deal with week after week after week with Terrell Owens, you could certainly understand why in a short week they could come out flat offensively.
Well, I would agree with that. They've got to compartmentalize, though, however, because this is a game they really must win.
2nd down and 10 now for the Giants. And a screen knocked into the air, and it's batted down incomplete. Cole and Kearse were converging on the football. And say again what you said a moment ago about pressure with only 4 for the Philadelphia Eagles. That's big.
Yeah, I think if you look at this Eagles defense this year, when they've had problems is when they brought pressure and they haven't been able to get to the quarterback because the secondary has just not been able to hold up. But what we've seen here in the 2nd quarter is the Eagles are starting now to get pressure with their front four. Javon Kearse bats that ball up in the air. We've seen Trent Cole get pressure on Eli Manning already. If they can continue to do that, then it helps them in their coverage on the back end.
The defensive ends have combined for 3 sacks, and the play clock just expired. That'll make it 3rd and 15. This play is not happening. Crowd watches the catch, but this thing was blown dead. There's Burris showing his athletic ability, grabbing that pass, but it's going to be 3rd down and 15 back on the Giants side of midfield. No microphone, or at least it's not working for Tony Correnti. You can see the play clock behind the head of Eli Manning clearly on 0 when the ball was snapped.
Yeah, and you mentioned that this week Eli Manning making 2 calls in the huddle, calling 2 plays, and then at the line he actually has at his disposal the opportunity to make a couple of other calls if he sees something that he likes. And when you're going through a lot of that, you still have to keep your eye on the clock, and you've got to get the ball snapped.
Third down and 15, a blitz. Manning throws for Burris. Plexico. Incomplete. Out of bounds.
I'll tell you what, Joe, that looks awfully close. The Eagles, they do bring pressure again, but this time they're not able to get to Eli, and Eli throws it up. And to me, it looked like from here that he had both feet in. He's got the ball in his hand, and it's hard to tell from that angle, but he secured the catch, and now it's just a matter of whether both feet were in bounds.
Well, Tom Coughlin's going to challenge it, and looking at it on the replay, I think the call will stand. Let's take another look and see if Burris gets both feet down before he hits out of bounds.
Yeah, his feet were in the air when he was making the catch, and it looked like the one comes out on the sidelines, and he didn't get both down.
Yeah,
the right foot.
The right foot never comes down. So they are looking at it. Tony Correnti is under the hood. A challenge by the Giants, but it looks like this call will stand and a punt will be coming. Tony Correnti is looking at it under the hood. Great catch by Burris, but a catch that we don't believe is going to stand, because by the time Burris hauls it in, his right foot is still up in the air. The left knee comes down and hits on the boundary. And it's going to be 4th down and 15, you would think, from the Giants 49 after this challenge. It's either a 33-yard completion and a first down for New York, or 4th down and 15 if the call stands.
I'm a little surprised that it's taken them this long to make a ruling on this play, because it appears pretty obvious to us, at least, that the right foot does not come down in the field of play
until the knee is hit out. But we will wait for the call. So you have anything you want to get off your chest? Anything you want to talk about while we wait?
No, I feel pretty good.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right, good. Good. You're just going to have to read lips. The ruling on the field will stand, and I'm glad Troy Aikman feels pretty good. That's what he said, but the mic is not working. So it's 4th down for the Giants. Burris did all he could after moments before having come down with a ball that looked like a touchdown, only to have it reversed because the play clock had expired. And Eli Manning again not able to do much in the way of moving the football down the field. Another punt from Jeff Fiegels. It's going to make his record-tying day count today. It's his 4th already. Reno Mahe is waiting deep for the Eagles. And that one ends up out of bounds. We'll see where they mark it. They will mark it at the 18-yard line. The Giants defense heads back to work. And look at the day they have had against the Eagles, and really no change from what they've done the last 3 weeks. This has been a smothering, hard-hitting, fast-playing defense for Tim Lewis, who's done a great job as defensive coordinator for New York.
He really has. And if you look at this defense and what happened to them early in the season, they were playing with a lot of big leads, and so the defense was giving up a lot of passing yards, and their numbers were very much inflated. Here over the last 3 weeks, they've done a terrific job, and their defense probably lies somewhere in between, but they really are doing a very good job of getting pressure on the quarterback and then flying around to the football.
Let's see if things can settle down a little bit for McMahon. They hand off to Westbrook, who's brought down in the backfield. Bryson, Robbins, Clancy, all there, a loss of 1. And so far, the Eagles offensively haven't opened up anything to the point where they're going to get much breathing room with that ground game.
Well, and right now they're trying to be very, very conservative with how they're approaching this thing with Mike McMahon. They want to try to take some of the pressure off him, obviously run the football, and they don't want to get into a lot of the spread out open sets and open up the edges to where then he's vulnerable to a lot of pressure.
L.J. Smith starts this play in the backfield. And now in motion. 2nd and 11. Looking left, Lewis. It's up in the air and incomplete. Alexander almost came down with it. Good coverage by Will Allen.
And then the other part of it is that somebody's got to win, and Greg Lewis is one-on-one on Will Allen, and you've got to be able to get a little bit of separation. And you know, Will Allen makes a good play on that ball. He just comes around and gets his right hand out in front. But Greg Lewis has great speed. You need to use it to your advantage and create separation with speed.
3rd down and 11. A toss, a reverse. Lewis brought down on a good play by Antonio Pierce, who's had a fantastic year after last year making his name known throughout the league while playing with Washington.
And initially it looked like it was going to be a heck of a play. They turn and they run the toss the opposite way there with a reverse action to Greg Lewis, and Mike McMahon is the guy who's coming out on the block. He had 2 guys trying to block Antonio Pierce. Neither guy gets him, and so they don't get the first down.
Bad snap. The punt is blocked. That's Tyree. And the Giants will take over inside the 1. The snap was no good, and Tyree, who has been sorely missed on special teams for New York, came in to block it.
Yeah, they felt a lot of their problems last week in special teams was because David Tyree was not playing for them, and this time he's able to get through the line. A low snap slows up the punt process, but I think David Tyree was going to be there to block it regardless.
Talked to John Harbaugh, the special teams coach for the Eagles, before the game today. He said, how good is Tyree? They keep talking about Tyree. He said he is very good at getting pressure, at covering kicks. And he is about as valuable a player as the Giants have on special teams. And he shows why there. Now, New York has it at the Philadelphia 1. Brandon Jacobs in the backfield, the rookie. And he gets it running right. And that big body does not get in. 2nd down from just outside the goal line. Troy, you were critical of the Giants in Dallas, and I thought rightly so, for letting Barber take him down the field, and like they tried to do with Ron Dane in previous years, give it to somebody else to bang it into the end zone, and Jacobs is the guy in 2005.
I think it's hard when you come in off the bench cold in this situation getting the football.
2nd down and goal. Jacobs doesn't get there again. This defensive line, now the Eagles are saying the ball came out. It's third down. Tony Corrente is signaling third down. So the Giants, even though Mark Simoneau comes away with a football, the Giants keep the ball, and it's third and goal.
Well, I know Brandon Jacobs is an awfully big guy. He's about 6'4" and 260 pounds. And because of that, the Giants feel that he can really move the pile. Sometimes when you got a guy that kind of size, it's hard to get your pad level down. But the Eagles have done a good job stopping him here on the last two plays.
Third and goal, timeout New York. You know what's interesting is Andy Reid is standing on the sideline. He's putting the red challenge flag back in his pocket. The Giants called timeout to bring up third down and goal. The ruling on the field was down by contact, but it looked like the ball was starting to come loose immediately as Jacob started to lose it on the handoff from Manning. And then we saw Simoneau come away with the ball at the end of the play. But the Giants keep possession and have third and goal from inside the 1. Jacobs again runs into a wall, and Jacobs does not get in. It's fourth and goal.
You know, for whatever reason, the Giants have labeled Jacobs as their short yardage goal line back, and that's what he is. We're going to see them now go for it on fourth down, but they've stopped him now 3 straight times. As you can see, he's running a little high for a guy who is trying to get the ball into the end zone down here in this situation, and it's a tough place to run. And I think it's especially tough for someone who has not yet gotten into the flow of the game prior to getting down into this situation.
It's now fourth and goal. The Giants showing they'll go for it, and the Eagles call their second timeout.
You know, in addition to Brandon Jacobs, you also got to look at this offensive line and seeing if they're getting any kind of push. Now, I mentioned earlier, they're not an overpowering offensive line. They block more on angles. But because they're not moving anyone out, there's really no place there for Jacobs to run. Your hope is that when he does make contact, that he's big enough and strong enough that he can move the pile and break the goal line.
Now Tiki Barber has come into the huddle. He wasn't there for the first 3 tries from the 1, and now here he is on fourth and goal.
And I like Tiki Barber in this situation because if your offensive line is not getting movement, as we've seen, Tiki Barber is the type of back that can find a little bit of a crease and stay underneath some of those blocks.
Fourth and goal.
Wouldn't be surprised to see play action here, though.
It is play action. It is a touchdown for Toomer. Eli Manning with his 16th touchdown throw of the season. The block by Tyree sets up 6 on the completion from Eli Manning to Amani Toomer.
Well, real simple route here. Amani Toomer, he's just going to act like he's getting ready to crack on the defender, and then he goes in behind him, and because of the play action, everybody sucks up, and Eli Manning does a good job of putting it up high. You don't want to throw a flat ball in that situation. He gets it up high for Amani, and they're able to come down with a touchdown.
So for Toomer, his 4th touchdown catch. 11 straight with a touchdown pass for Eli Manning, the longest active streak in the NFL. And finally on fourth and goal from the 1, the Giants get it in and now lead by 10. They couldn't run it in, so they put it in the right hand of Eli Manning, who put it in both hands of Amani Toomer. 10-0 Giants. The touchdown set up by David Tyree, and the punt block a big part of the 10-0 lead. 10-0, the Giants are out in front. Special teams mistake by the Philadelphia Eagles, and that when you're the Eagles and you've got McMahon playing, you cannot afford to do that. They have a low snap, a blocked punt. The Giants take over at the 1, finally get it into the end zone. And now Mike McMahon has to play down by 10 points with just under 3 to play in the half.
And that's what he told us when he was in Detroit. One of the reasons why he had a lot of bad games when he played for them was because he was always playing from a deficit. Well, here he is playing from another deficit with the Philadelphia Eagles.
A couple of bounces and now into the hand of Rod Hood. And Roderick crossed the 25, hops out at the 27. The key play was the block punt. A couple of games missed by Tyree with an elbow injury, comes back in and tests the strength of that elbow with a block, the punt by Reggie Hodges, and then on 4th down, the touchdown throw.
Yeah, and you look at Toomer, he's going to come like he's getting ready to block Michael Lewis, and Michael Lewis thinks then he's cracking on him, and he comes up, and that's when Toomer's able to get in behind him. Lewis is reading into the backfield, and that's why Toomer was able to get separation.
Westbrook, Human-Euro. Westbrook got it just across the 30, picked up 3.
You know, you talk about Mike McMahon and some of the things that these other players need to do around him, and yeah, the special teams has to do a better job. You can't get punts blocked, and they've got to be able to run the football. We've talked a little bit about that. And then also the receivers, when they get opportunities, because Mike McMahon is not going to make every throw perfect. But when you get your opportunities, you've got to make plays for them.
2nd down and 7. Westbrook runs into a wall. Nowhere to go. Now brought down from behind by Pierce. What a big addition he's been in the middle of this Giants defense.
He's been a great pickup for this football team, and what he has done is he's proven that last year's success in Washington in Greg Williams' system was not the only reason why he was successful. He's proven by coming here to New York and having the year that he's having now that he's a great player in this league.
2 minutes left in the half. As always, coming up on the Visa Halftime Report, JB, Terry, Howie, and Jimmy will have all the scores and highlights from today's early games and the Fox Sports ticker to keep you updated with up-to-the-second stats. 3rd down and 9 for the Eagles. McMahon sets up down the middle. Greg Lewis, big completion for Philadelphia. And Lewis is all the way down to the 40 and beyond. They're going to mark him out inside the 38 with 1:52 left, and the Eagles with 1 timeout remaining.
Well, and that's what I was talking about earlier as far as guys being able to step up and make plays. Greg Lewis running the square in against Curtis DeLoach. Because the ball's on the back shoulder there, it causes Greg Lewis to have to come back out of the route then to his left. And by doing that, DeLoach then misses the tackle, and Greg Lewis is able to pick up more yardage.
What a big completion for Philadelphia, trying to get something on the board before the end of the half.
A heck of a throw there by Mike McMahon.
Blitz coming from the Giants. A handoff is to Westbrook. Bryan down to the 33, got 4. Again, 1 timeout left for each side.
And you watch Mike McMahon, and right now they're in a no-huddle situation. You say, well, how much of this offense does he really know? He knows it as well as what Donovan McNabb knows it, because it's the offense he ran while he was in Detroit.
2nd down and 4. The pass is picked off by Wilson. Out of the reach of McMullen. Into the arms of Jabril Wilson. His 2nd interception of the season. And now a flag comes in at the very end of the play. The Giants pleading their case, but it came in right at the end of the play.
During the return of the interception, illegal block in the back. Defense number 92. 10-yard penalty, 1st down.
So it's Strahan who delivers a block in the back. He is still talking to the officials, and let's look at McMullen, number 80.
Yeah, there was contact there with Billy McMullen, and it looked like that might have been the flag initially, that there might be an illegal contact, but he had an opportunity for McMullen up the seam, but the ball gets away from him, and anytime you throw the ball high over the middle of the field, generally bad things are going to happen. There's the block by Michael Strahan on Mike McMahon that drew the flag.
Backs the ball up to the 20. 1 timeout left for the Giants, and 1:21 on the clock. They hand to Barber. Tiki Barber. Picked up 9.5. A minute 12 and counting.
And you get a big gain like that on first down, all of a sudden the Giants' mentality changes. They go from probably just trying to run this clock out, now thinking they're going to get some points of their own.
They hand it off again to Tiki Barber, and Barber gets to the line of scrimmage and then is stood up. They are going to give forward progress for a half yard and enough for a first down, but the clock continues to move. 43 seconds left. And again, only one timeout on the board for the Giants. Manning drops it off. Throw behind Barber. Good catch. Tiki Barber was brought down by Jeremiah Trotter and then ends up walking over his back toward the line of scrimmage.
Well, they're losing a lot of time right now. They want to save their last time out for the field goal team if they get in position, but they're not going to get into position if they don't speed it up.
Only 10 seconds left. Manning in trouble. Down he goes. That catch by Barber when he reached behind him was his 500th career reception. He's the second Giant to do it. Earlier today, Amani Toomer broke that threshold. Toomer has a touchdown today. Barber wondering what the Giants were trying to do there with a minute 21 left on the clock and a timeout. They looked like they were thinking about moving the ball, but then didn't run any plays where they really could move the ball down the field.
Yeah, they got the good run there on first down, and then I thought they were going to start throwing the football a little bit more, but Eli was not able to get any big chunks, and I think a lot of people were wondering what they were trying to accomplish there.
On that last play, Kurtz got the sack to end the half, and that is his third sack of the first half. The big play is clearly the blocked punt. David Tyree came in, did the job for the Giants, and then on 4th and goal, the touchdown completion to Amani Toomer. And it's 10-0 New York at the half. The Visa halftime show is coming up. JB, Terry, Howie, and Jimmy. One half in the books here at Giant Stadium. New York up 10-0 over the Eagles, who need to win this game to stay alive and have any hope in the NFC East. JB, Terry, Howie, and Jimmy are coming along right after these messages and a word from your local Fox station, the Visa halftime show, right here on Fox.
The Visa Halftime Report is sponsored by Visa. With Visa, you're protected.
All right, to those of you watching Arizona, St. Louis, Philadelphia, and the Giants, Giants defense hasn't allowed a touchdown in the last 15 quarters, getting her done.
All right, Mike McMahon, welcome to the quarterback position for the Eagles. There he is. Hello, Antonio Pierce says. Knocks him down 2 for 9 in the first quarter is McMahon. Reggie Hodges back to punt. Blocked by David Tyree. Ball recovered by the Giants at the 1-yard line. 3 attempts from the 1 to score. Could not score. 4th down. There it is. Coach Coughlin saw Jimmy Johnson's piece on when to go for it on 4th and 2. That's when you do it. That's a beautiful shot. Touchdown pass to Amani Toomer. And the Giants up over the Eagles 10-0. Bill Parcells smiling. Good to see that, Coach. Rookie running back give you a reason to smile off left tackle. Marion Barber, 6-yard score, 7-0 Cowboys. Then back come the Cowboys. Drew Bledsoe out of the eye, into the flat. He throws to Lasaka Polite down to the 1-yard line. Cowboys could not get this in, settle for a field goal. Bill Parcells not happy, but they're up 10-0. Kevin Jones then running back for the Lions, bounces to the outside. Great effort. 2-yard score, 13-7 Dallas over the visiting Detroit Lions.
All right, Dallas looking for its 4th straight home win in that contest there. Washington hasn't hosted the Raiders since '95, on top by 10 in that one.
Panthers owner Jerry Richardson saying hello to former Panther Muhsin Muhammad. Sorry we didn't give you the money after you deserved it, but yeah, I wish we had you, Muhammad, there on a 3-yard strike from Kyle Orkin, the rookie out of Purdue. 7-0. Is Chicago. Vassar after an interception of Jake Delhomme, second time. There's a return of 22 yards, and it's 13-0. Remember, Vassar has the longest touchdown in NFL history of 108 yards. 13-0. Bears over at Carolina Panthers. In comes Michael Vick. Scary moment. Vick down. Left the game, shaken up, but he would return. Greg Knapp, offensive coordinator for the Atlanta Falcons, on the very next play, sends in the quarterback Schaub. Schaub then back Ball stripped by Simeon Rice. Fumble, Andy Booger McFarland. It just goes to prove that Boogers and Rice go together. 13-10, Tampa Bay over and Atlanta. Hey, I'm reading the copy. New Orleans and New England. Brady greeting former teammate Antoine Smith. Pretty little move, breaks some tackles.
Defense playing great versus a watered down and what looks to be distracted Philadelphia Eagle offense. And the thing that let the Giants down last week was special teams. And it's the thing that's really kept them in the game and put them in the game, leading to that big goal line play on the block punt.
Tom Coughlin continually wants to run Brandon Jacobs, the big back, down the short yardage goal line. Well, I don't care how big and strong and powerful you are. You're not going to be as big as strong as the players on defense. I'd much rather have one of the better runners in the league, Tiki Barber, hitting a crease, just like Emmitt Smith, the best of all time.
Troy makes a great point. Here's a guy who's standing on the sideline. Granted, he's 6'5", 255 or 260, whatever he is. He runs too high.
All they're trying to do is move the pile just a foot to get
move the pile.
momentum.
Hit the crease on the goal line.
Well, maybe there wasn't a crease.
The difference between being here and here.
There's always a crease.
Okay, all right.
There's always
a
Coach
crease.
says there's always a crease. And guess what? There's always a second half right after this.
10-0, the Giants have the lead, and they'll start this second half with a football. Give you a look at our fantasy update. For the latest in fantasy stats, log on to foxsports.com. Powered by MSN. Manning's day. Tiki Barber, 33 yards. The Giants as a team have piled up only 83 yards of offense. They'll get a chance for more here at the start of the second half. Chad Morton is returning kicks. Got it across the 25 out to the 29, brought down by Jack Brewer, a new Eagle. And let's go down to Pam Oliver.
Hey, Joe, the Eagles defensive unit very vocal as they left the field. One player said, we got to create some turnovers, help our offense out. Brian Dawkins basically put dibs on the second half. He went up to his teammates, got in their faces and said, hey, the second half will be my half. Tom Coughlin wants field position in the second half. That was his emphasis, along with more consistency on offense. Jeremy Shockey, no catches today, came into the bench area, kicked the 30-yard marker, and went into the area with his teammates. He is not a happy man. Back to you.
All right. Thank you, Pam. Tiki Barber gets one. On the other side of things, I mean, here's Shockey, who they haven't even really looked at today. And then you've got a quarterback, I would say, Troy and Eli Manning, that can't be too confident with the way he's played the last handful of weeks. And today, the fourth down completion on 4th and goal, that's about it.
Yeah, no, he has struggled in recent weeks. He struggled with some accuracy. He struggled hitting guys when they've had opportunities. And I don't know that he's had a lot of opportunities with the guys getting open for him today, though.
Playing against this good Eagles secondary. He's been playing better the last couple of weeks. There's Toomer, who broke free. And Amani Toomer is out to the 47, picked up 17.
You know, we talked about Jeremy Shockey and him not having had a catch yet in this ball game, and he had an opportunity on this play. He's going to be running an inside post route, and had Eli Manning have seen him soon enough, he could have gotten the ball into his hands. Amani Toomer then coming underneath that, but you know, part of his frustration, Jeremy Shockey, also is the fact that he's playing with a pretty serious injury today to his chest.
Bob Whitfield is in at left tackle, and running left is Barber, and he loses yardage. Dhani Jones, a former Giant. Jeremiah Trotter there for the Eagles, a loss of 3, and Whitfield is in the game. Luke Pettigrew was taken for an X-ray on his knee. Jeremy Shockey today has been running his routes, but Eli Manning has not been looking his way.
No, and I've always believed that Jeremy Shockey's one of those athletes that you really want to get involved early in games, and they've just not been able to do it.
A lot of pressure. Burris makes the catch, and Plexico gets it inside Philadelphia territory. Semino had pressure on Manning, who was able to complete it for 8 yards to Plexico Burris.
A pretty good job by Eli Manning hanging in the pocket, because Mark Semino, who's going to get blocked, he's going to get blocked low, and he goes over the top and gets into Eli Manning's face, yet he's able to make the throw and get the completion. And you know, that is one thing about Eli Manning. I mean, I know this week there's been a lot of criticisms as to how he played last week, but he's a tough guy, and he's going to compete, and he'll certainly hang in the pocket to try to get a throw off.
3rd down and 5. Manning fires Burris right through his hands. Only 2 catches all day, and Plexico just missed one for a big gain.
Well, that would have been a big play, and then it puts you in position immediately for at least an attempt on a field goal, and he put the ball in a good position right where Plexico Burris had an opportunity to bring it in. And I think when you talk about Eli Manning and his completion percentage and why it's not as high as maybe what you would like, some of that's throwing the ball away, and then some of that's also when the receivers drop the passes.
Lito Shepherd is injured. They look at him. 4th down for the Giants.
Fox NFL Sunday is sponsored by Southwest Airlines, proud sponsor of the NFL and official airline of Super Bowl 40.
Lito Shepherd is still down on the turf and appears to be a pretty serious injury to the lower part of one of his legs. We looked at it on a replay. They have to bring the cart out to help get him off the field. Burris went up, had the ball goes through his hands. You could see contact with the leg and foot of Burris on the left ankle area or shin of Lito Shepherd, and he is in enough pain to where he can't get up and hobble off the field. It's 4th down for the Giants. They're going to punt, and you wonder about Ty Detmer. If this is a game that or rather Coy Detmer, if this is a game that the Eagles have to win, and Mike McMahon at this point has been unable to move this team, well, now you see Detmer with his helmet on and the stocking cap on the head of McMahon. Coy Detmer looks like he's coming into the game. Now, as you say that, McMahon puts his helmet on. The point is, they need a lift, and they need something to get the offense moving, and maybe a change to Coy Detmer, who's been with this team for 9 years, would be the guy to get that done.
Well, and I know in talking with Andy Reid as to why the decision was made to go with Mike McMahon, the reason was that he is very athletic, extremely mobile, so he's able to avoid the rush and do some things there, and he's got a great arm, but he hasn't played much. And he said, we don't know what we're going to get with Mike McMahon today. With Coy Detmer, we do know what he can do, and we do know the type of player that he is, and I wouldn't be surprised if they don't start doing something more on offense if Coy Detmer doesn't get an opportunity.
Lino Mahe is back waiting for the punt from Fiegels. And Mahe with a catch outside the 15. Decent field position for the Eagles. And it's going to be McMahon going back into the huddle at quarterback for Philadelphia. Down by 10.
Fox NFL Sunday is sponsored by the all-new Lexus IS. Why live in one dimension?
This Giants organization losing Bob Tisch on Tuesday, 3 weeks after they lost Wellington Mara. Been with his team since 1925. Wellington Mara. The early word on the ankle of Lito Shepherd, that left ankle, is a broken left ankle. So that is a huge loss for this Philadelphia defense. Meanwhile, offensively, they have McMahon still operating this team. And here's another look at the injury.
And I think it happened before. There was no real contact. I think it just happened with him running down the field, and the ankle gave way on him for whatever reason.
2nd down and 7. Westbrook, Bryson, and a loss on the play of 2. Let's look back. Mike McMahon got an early hit from Antonio Pierce. It's been that sort of a day for the Eagles offense. A block punt by David Tyree. Set up on 4th down from the 1. The touchdown throw to Amani Toomer. And that's it.
Well, yeah, it's been a defensive struggle, and even the Eagles defensively have done a good job. They had the pass interference that shouldn't have been called, and then the block punt that set up the 10 points for the Giants.
3rd down and 8. McMahon throws the pass, and that's going to be a flag on Deloach. He was on the back of Reggie Brown. Contact down the field, and there's a call against the New York Giants, and it certainly looked like Deloach did too much.
Pass interference, defense number 39, automatic first down.
You know, initially the Giants come up and they show that they're going to go all-out blitz with no middle safety, and then Brent Alexander actually moves to the middle of the field, and that's why Mike McMahon audible to the outside, and he has one-on-one with Reggie Brown, and a pretty easy call there by the officials. Curtis Deloach, who's had somewhat of a tough day today. He's their best corner currently, but an easy call for the officials on pass interference.
15-yard penalty, first down at the 45, and that one is knocked down by Grayson.
I think you look at these Eagles offensively, and the way they were able to run the football a week ago against the Dallas Cowboys, rushing for a season high over 180 yards, which certainly helped them offensively move the football in that game. And you come into a game like this with Mike McMahon, and if you ever needed to be able to run the football, this is the type of game, and Andy Reid has certainly called them. I mean, it hasn't been from them not trying, but they've just not been able to get any lanes for Brian Westbrook.
Second down and 10. McMahon throws down the sideline. The pass is caught by Westbrook. A stumbling catch by Brian Westbrook. And they're going to mark him down inside the 25 to the 23.
Well, Brian Westbrook now with Terrell Owens out, he's going to come out and he's going to run. Actually, he had already got out. He went into motion to the outside, and then he runs the vertical route. And I know Tim Lewis, the defensive coordinator for the Giants, he said he's our #1 focus, and we know they're going to try to get the ball into his hands, whether it's running the football or as a receiver. Good throw there by Mike McMahon.
32-yard completion, first down from the 23. Westbrook gets a yard, maybe a yard and a half. Strahan on the tackle for the Giants.
You know, in a lot of ways, this Eagles offense becomes a receiving by committee type of offense, much like what they had prior to Terrell Owens joining the team last year. They tried to spread the ball around in those previous years to Freddie Mitchell and Todd Pinkston and L.J. Smith along with Brian Westbrook, and that's kind of what they're forced to do now with Greg Lewis, Reggie Brown, L.J. Smith, and of course Brian Westbrook is a key part of all that.
Second down and 9. Pass from McMahon is into the arms for a touchdown to Brown. Mike McMahon goes right down the field and gets the Eagles into the end zone.
A little redemption for Reggie Brown. Had a good game 2 weeks ago against the Washington Redskins. Comes back last week and struggled, and none more important than the drop that he had to end that game. But a good job here of getting inside, because Deloach had inside technique. Reggie Brown threatened him to the outside and got Deloach's hips turned, and once he did that, he had the angle to the post for the touchdown.
Had the touchdown in that first start, replacing Terrell Owens against the Redskins, and now he is in for the second time in his rookie year. The extra point makes it a 3-point game. It's 10-7. McMahon hooks up with Reggie Brown. A 3-point game here at Giant Stadium. Cortez kicks it away for Philadelphia. Chad Morton from inside the 5. Penalty flag comes in as Morton gets it out to the 28. 8:58 to go in the third quarter. Reggie Brown, the rookie from Georgia, second-round pick. The 22-yard touchdown catch.
During the return of the kick, holding, receiving team number 59. 10-yard penalty, first down.
Former Eagle practice squad player Alonzo Jackson.
You know, you go back and look at the touchdown, you see where Deloach is lined up inside of where Reggie Brown is, but you watch him as he comes off the ball and what speed will do to you. As soon as he is going vertical and he gets Deloach's hips turned right there, there's no way you can then defend the post, and it made for an easy completion and touchdown.
On first down, the pass complete to Burris. And it depends on the spot as to whether or not it's good enough for a first down. Defensively, the Eagles, who have lost Lito Shepherd to a broken ankle, played well today against the Giants offense. Good pressure by the front four, and in particular the defensive ends, Javon Curse, who has 3 sacks, and Trent Cole, who has a sack. Second down and 1, a short one. Tiki Barber right up the middle of the defense. Open field. Tiki Barber run down by Roderick Hood.
Well, that's what Tiki Barber brings to this offense. He's a guy who doesn't need a lot of space in order to get through the offensive line. You're going to watch the block in here, and then watch as Tiki Barber finds a crease. Good block there on the backside, allowing Tiki Barber the cutback lane, and then once he gets out in the open field, he's as good as there is out in the open field and making people miss. Great job of blocking by that offensive line. Good run, Tiki Barber.
I heard Jimmy Johnson say at the half, there's always a crease. Tiki Barber just found that one easily. Now it's Ward who goes backward. Ward checks in as Barber checks out after the 55-yard run. And Derek Ward, the second-year running back, loses 3 on that first down carry. Tiki Barber, one way to find out if anybody's bearing down on you from behind is to watch the video screen in the stadium.
That's a good tactic. I've never known anybody could do that.
Well, if you turn your head, it's going to slow you down.
He's multitasking while he's running. That's great.
Second down and 13. Pass is tipped by Hollis Thomas. And let's go to JB for a game break.
Hey, Joe Buck, 17 unanswered by the Falcons, including this 4-yard strike from Vic to Algie Crumpler. 10 plays, 73 yards. Falcons on top 17-13 at home, back in the third. Back to Joe Buck.
All right, JB, thanks. And while we were away, we looked down and noticed that Sean O'Hara is down after that last play. Third down and long for the Giants when we come back.
Fox NFL Sunday is sponsored by Domino's, the delivery experts. Get the door, it's Domino's. By DirecTV. Get DirecTV DVR and record your favorite shows with a touch of a button. By the new Campbell's Chunky Fajita Soups, hearty soups that fill you up right. And by UPS, what can Brown do for you?
Ernie Accorsi is the Senior Vice President, General Manager of this Giants team. Sean O'Hara had to be helped off. Jason Whittle will come in at center.
You know, Ernie Accorsi, there's talk that this may be his last year, but whether it is or it isn't, I mean, he really should be applauded for the job that he's done. He's done a terrific job here over the last 2 years assembling a young, talented football team.
It's third down and 13. Whittle at center, and Whitfield is at left tackle. Amani Toomer going to be brought down short of the first down yardage needed. He's down inside the 10. It's fourth down. He needed 13. Toomer got 11.
And this Eagles defense really has done a good job. I mentioned a little bit earlier, I mean, the one field goal was set up by a pass interference that really should not have been called. And then the block punt set up the touchdown. And then you had the big run there by Tiki Barber. And that really has been the problem for this Eagles defense. They play well, but then they just give up too many big plays. And that's what happened to them last Monday night against Dallas as well. They dominated that game, but just gave up a couple big plays that wound up costing them.
Feely is hit from 26. He will try from 27. And the former Falcon is now 21 of 23 for the season. It's 13-7. Giants add to their lead. The Eagles defense doing as much as it can, keeping the Giants out of the end zone. It's a 6-point New York lead with just under 6 to play in this third quarter. And the Eagles about to get it back. Hood stumbles. And it's through the back of the end zone for a touchback. So here come the Eagles on offense. And you think about the Terrell Owens situation as they're playing here today, as they did last week without Terrell Owens, and they're working their way through this 4-game suspension. That's what was discussed during the hearing on Friday, that the 4-game suspension was too much, that was not commensurate with the violations that Terrell Owens committed with what he said during really the entire course of the season. What wasn't discussed was the 5-game supposed deactivation after he comes off the suspension. Handoff is to Gordon. He's brought down by Grayson. The only point I think that needs to be made about that, Troy, is that it's potentially an untenable situation and almost unrealistic to think that Owens is going to be reinstated after the suspension and then come and be just a guy hanging around the facility and they're just going to deactivate him on game day. That thing is pointed directly to a settlement and a release.
Well, yeah, I don't think anybody really knows exactly how that's ultimately going to be ruled, but one thing is certain, he won't play for the Philadelphia Eagles again. 2nd down and 12. McMahon forced to roll out, dumps it off, and off the left hand of L.J. Smith, incomplete. Grayson with pressure, forcing McMahon to run. You know, Nick Grayson is one of those linebackers that is really a blue-collar type guy, and he has stepped in this year and really done a heck of a job. He got some playing time last year. Not a real big guy either, but he's one of those players that's always around the ball. And I think when you talk about the Eagles offensively, the way they moved down the field on that previous possession and got the touchdown, it looked like Mike McMahon was starting to settle in, but a couple of tough plays there on 1st and 2nd down.
3rd down and 12. Allen came on a blitz. McMahon fires, wide open. A flag is down. Reggie Brown on the catch. But there is a flag down in the area where Brown was coming out of his break, and we'll see if this is pass interference on Philadelphia, offensive pass interference, or if it's on the Giants.
Looks like they're going to call that on Corey Webster of the Giants.
Holding defense number 23. This penalty is declined. Result of the play, 1st down.
That's a 44-yard completion to Reggie Brown.
Nice job here by Brian Westbrook picking up a blitzing Will Allen, and then Mike McMahon not even able to step into the throw, but a double move on the outside against the rookie Corey Webster by Reggie Brown, and a good job of setting it up, getting by him, and then Mike McMahon doing what he had to do in order to get it into his hands. Reggie Brown now, he's made a couple of nice catches.
Westbrook is split out wide to the right at the top of your screen. It's 1st down for Philadelphia. McMahon over the middle behind L.J. Smith, his tight end. The last possession for the Eagles, they scored the first touchdown against the Giants in the last 3+ games. And here's Strahan coming off the edge.
Yeah, and John Runyon is one of the few guys in this league that they really allow to go one-on-one against Michael Strahan. Generally, he's getting double-teamed virtually on every play, but the Eagles believe that John Runyon can match up against him. It's always been a good matchup between the two. Michael Strahan won that one and got a pretty good lick on Mike McMahon.
It's 2nd down and 10. Westbrook got away from Robbins, and a flag comes flying in from the secondary. Westbrook got it down inside the 35, picked up 5, but we will check the marker, and Tom Coughlin says it's coming back. Coughlin was out on the field motioning that it was against Philadelphia.
Holding offense number 80. 10-yard penalty. Repeat, 2nd down.
That's Billy McMullen.
Yeah, Billy McMullen gets called on the hold against Curtis DeLoach, and he's got a hold of him there. That's an easy call, and right there on the sideline, and it's no wonder that Tom Coughlin was pointed out. He had the best seat to see it.
A 4 wide receiver set comes in for the Eagles on 2nd down and 20. So that means that Darnarian McCants, who has 1 catch, whereas number 85 is on the field. Second down and 20. They spread him out, and the Eagles run it with Westbrook, pushing the pile down inside the 30. About 1.5 yards shy of a first down.
Well, just a good job. McMullen got called on the previous play for holding, which was obvious, but now he comes back out and he really does a great job again in the blocking. You watch him and how he's able to drive Will Allen. Now he still got his hands up around the shoulder area, probably a hold, but he didn't pull on the jersey as he did earlier. But because he's down the field blocking, that gave Brian Westbrook some room to run.
19-yard run, 3rd down and 1. A toss to Westbrook. Gets to the edge. Brian Westbrook is out of bounds with a first down inside the 15 to the 13.
You got Adrian Clark, who's filling in at Artis Hicks at left guard, and they set this up pretty well. You watch him, he's going to pull, make it look like they're going to run the sweep to the right side, and then they come back with the toss. And because of that, then you've got the OCU Manura there who collapsed, and it allowed Brian Westbrook then to get out on the edge.
So after a 19-yard run, a 16-yard run by Westbrook. That's a first down at the 13-yard line.
A big pickup for a first down after having to go 20 yards.
Lamar Gordon to the 10, maybe inches beyond, down shy of the 9, a gain of 3.
I thought in last Monday night's game that the Eagles did a nice job of mixing Lamar Gordon in there in the backfield and letting him run the football. And he had not had a lot of carries leading up to that game, but you think back to when the Eagles have been most effective running the football over the last 3 to 4 years. It's been when they've had multiple guys running the football.
Last week against Dallas, 13 carries, 57 yards. 2nd down, 7. McMahon pumps, throws, a penalty flag, and that's DeLoach again. Over the back of McMullen. DeLoach has had a long day today.
Well, he really has, and McMullen, all of a sudden he's become the guy on this drive, and he's running an out
pass
route.
Interference, defense number 39. As the foul occurred in the end zone, the ball will be spotted at the 1-yard line. Automatic first down.
Pretty risky throw there by Mike McMahon, but what happened was it was the left arm. I'm not so sure it was a catchable ball. I don't know that the official necessarily had to make the call, but the left arm is where he got called.
Extra lineman Dajulek comes in on 1st and goal for the Eagles. McMahon lost the ball, and for the 3rd time today, looks like he's able to get back on top of it at 2nd and goal.
I tell you, he's been fortunate in that the ball's been on the ground, as you said, 3 times, and all 3 times he's been able to get back on it. You got the snap here, but it's the guard that hits it. It's Adrian Clark as he's pulling, and as a quarterback, when you get the snap, you've got to seat it into your stomach, because if you keep it out, when you've got linemen pulling, that's generally what will happen.
2nd down and goal. McMahon slings it incomplete. L.J. Smith is looking for a flag, and he's not going to get it. 3rd and goal.
Heck, I was looking for a flag. I thought that if they're going to call it on Curtis DeLoach, previously, you take a look at the contact here. Brent Alexander and L.J. Smith. Looked like initially L.J. Smith is the one who initiated the contact, and then at the end of the play, Brent Alexander comes through him in order to try to knock the ball down. That's where that fumble becomes a big deal, because instead of being 2nd down, it's 3rd down.
3rd down and goal. McMahon rolls, flips it. L.J. Smith, incomplete. Will Allen was there for the Giants.
Well, I thought Mike McMahon did a good job of getting it to the outside, because it was good coverage. And if there was any way that L.J. Smith could have tried to work back through the ball, he might have been able to hang on to that, but Will Allen, what a terrific play by him, getting his hand in there and knocking it loose.
So now Akers will try the chip shot. 20-yard field goal attempt. And it's a 3-point game. McMahon and the Eagles offense much better this second half. 13-10 Giants with a minute and a half, the third quarter left. A minute 33 left in this third quarter. And the Eagles have been able to move the ball on offense this second half. Have a little traction. And now Eli Manning and the Giants are back into a 3-point game. Akers good from 20 yards. Westbrook a big part of that drive, getting the Eagles down close. They got down to the 1 but could not punch it in.
And a good job by Mike McMahon. I mean, for an offense that had really been struggling throughout that first half, here in the third quarter, he's done a good job of overcoming some things there, with the hold and overcoming 1st and 20 in order to at least get down there and get some points.
Cortez kicks it. Chad Morton on the return. Morton out to the 30. Well, it's picked up a little bit, Troy, in this second half, and actually it looks like we're in for a game that could have an exciting finish.
Well, I think so, yeah, and between these two teams, that's generally what happens, and I can't help but be reminded of a couple of years ago when the Eagles were 2-3 and struggling and had not been playing particularly well and had not played well in that game, and then Brian Westbrook returns a punt and wins it, and the Eagles went on to win 9 games in a row. And I know that that's not lost on these Eagles either. They feel that if they're able to win an important game here at the Meadowlands against the leading Giants, that it may be the game they need to get back on top.
That was way back in 2003, an 84-yard return. Manning throws in the direction of Shockey for the first time, incomplete. It's a game break, and it's James Brown.
Hey, Joe Buck, Jimmy Johnson said Marion Barber can get it done, give him the ball. That's exactly what Dallas did. 11 carries, 45 yards, his second touchdown of the day. Cowboys on top 20-7, that in the third. Back to Joe Buck.
So fans of the NFC East are paying attention to what Dallas is doing. Dallas starting the day tied with the Giants at 6-3. Tiki Barber bring up third down and long as Tiki gets 2. 3rd and 8. Let's go down to Pam Oliver.
Hey, Joe, rough day for the Giants O-line health-wise. Word on center Sean O'Hara, who had to be carted off the field. Giants say O'Hara has an ankle injury. He's getting evaluated in the locker room. Left tackle Luke Pettigrew, who had his knee x-rayed earlier, remains on the sideline. Pettigrew's knee is badly swollen. His return is doubtful.
Thank you, Pam. So Whitfield is still in at left tackle, and Jason Whittle takes over at center. And the Giants are out of backup offensive linemen. And the Giants need to spend a timeout. Play clock was down to 2. We'll take a break as well. 3rd down and 8. We come back. .38 seconds left in this third quarter, and a 3rd down and 8 for the Giants.
One good thing, Joe, when you talk about Luke Pettigrew being down and then Sean O'Hara, is that at least with Bob Whitfield and Jason Whittle, you've got 2 guys who have played a lot of games in the National Football League.
Four-man rush from the Eagles. Manning steps into the throw and hits Burris. And Plexico has a first down at midfield.
The protection now is starting to solidify again. There was some leakage earlier in the game. Jason Whittle, the center, the one that we talked about who replaced Sean O'Hara, does a good job there, giving Eli Manning some protection. He's going up against a good rusher in Darwin Walker. And then on the outside, good job there by Plexico Burris, fighting at the top of the route, but being able to get to the inside.
Another blitz from the Eagles. Nahani Jones was coming, and Tiki Barber carries it down inside the 45 to the 43, a 7-yard run. It'll be 2nd down and 3 when we come back. Fourth quarter coming up. 3-point Giants lead. Back after this from your local Fox station. Right before really their own deadline, the Philadelphia Eagles locked up Brian Westbrook. Signed him to a deal to keep him with the team through 2010. And doesn't matter which defensive coordinator you talk to, when the Eagles come to town or when they go to Philadelphia, he is the #1 priority to try and stop. Shockey has been shut out. 2nd down and 3. Burris just turns around and takes it from Manning. And Plexico gets 14 yards.
Well, the Eagles try running Brian Dawkins underneath Plexico Burris, but because it was such a short route and then also a quick drop by Eli Manning, they're able to get the ball into his hands pretty quickly. Plexico Burris admitted he was frustrated last week by the lack of opportunities.
Has 5 catches today. Eli Manning dives forward for a couple of extra yards down to the 23. Sam Rayburn on the stop and a gain of 6.
You know, we've seen a lot of times this year with this Eagles defense that when they've had to step up and make a play, they've really not been able to do it at the consistency that we're accustomed to seeing in previous seasons. And this is one of those drives where your offense went down the field and was able to cut the game to a 3-point margin. And you can't just then let the other offense go down the field and get points of their own.
Barber on a toss on 2nd down and 4 has a 1st down for New York.
On the flip side of that, it's a nice job by this Giants offense knowing that they're in a tight ball game and being able to control the ball at this time and take time off the clock. Now they're at 1st down and at least in a position at this moment of being able to attempt a field goal, obviously trying to get in for the touchdown.
For Tiki Barber now over the century mark. 3rd time he's done that rushing this season. Right at 100. 4th straight 100-yard game against Philadelphia. Barber this time loses a yard, so he's at 99.
That was Mike Patterson that made the play there, and he's one of those rookies who came on earlier in the season. When Darwin Walker got injured, he came in and really did a heck of a job. And you know what happens to a lot of these rookies when you get into the 9th, 10th, 11th game of the season, they run into that rookie wall to where it's just a lot more football than they're accustomed to playing, and he hit that a couple of weeks ago.
2nd down and 11. Manning fires and overthrows Toomer by a mile, and now a fight breaks out between Whitfield and Cole, and thankfully some players step in between the two. Now they go after it again, Whitfield and Cole, but it quiets down. 3rd down and 11 for the Giants.
You know, we've talked about how Jeremy Shockey has yet to get a catch. You're going to see him in motion. He's going to run an out route, but there's a corner out there waiting for him. And so that's why Eli Manning couldn't get him the football. And I know he's frustrated. He certainly is a guy who wants to be involved in the process of winning. But you can't force throws when he's covered.
Play action. Manning with all day. End zone. Penalty flag. Toomer incomplete. And this is pass interference.
He threw a flag and then he came back and threw his hat.
This is a pass interference call, and it appears to be against the Eagles for this from Michael Lewis.
There are 2 fouls on the play against the defense. Illegal contact, defense, this penalty is declined. Pass interference, number 32. As this foul occurred in the end zone, the ball will be spotted at the 1-yard line. Automatic 1st down.
So that's the 2nd pass interference call against Michael Lewis today.
Yeah, and the first pass interference was against Jeremy Shockey. He's running a flag route, so he starts up vertical right there. Dhani Jones gets called for that penalty, and then on the other one, it was Amani Toomer.
1st and goal from the 1. Tiki Barber is in the lineup, but Manning keeps it, throws it. Shockey, touchdown. Shockey shut out and off the statistics sheet until this completion from Eli Manning for the touchdown.
Yeah, and if you're going to catch the ball, why not make the first one a touchdown reception? A low ball by Eli Manning, a good spot to put it because of the coverage by Brian Dawkins, and a great job by Shockey going down to catch it.
6th touchdown reception of the season for Jeremy Shockey. The pass interference set it up. Eli Manning and Jeremy Shockey make it count for the Giants, who now lead by 10.
Fox NFL Sunday is sponsored by Ford F-150, built Ford tough. By State Farm, great service, great rates. That's why 40 million drivers trust State Farm. By Visa, proud sponsor of the NFL. With Visa's multiple layers of security, you're protected. And by Budweiser, bright, crisp, clean, pure. This is Budweiser, this is beer.
Beautiful day in New York. Here in Jersey at the Meadowlands Giants Stadium. Jeremy Shockey gets his first catch of the day, his 6th touchdown reception of the season, and it's 20-10. And good field position at the 40-yard line as a result of that kick from Feely that goes out of bounds.
Kickoff out of bounds. By rule, the ball will be placed at the 40-yard line. First down.
One of the biggest priorities for Tom Coughlin is special teams play. Not happy. Mike McMahon and the offense back to work, down 10. More than any other head coach in the NFL, with maybe the only exception being Bill Parcells, Tom Coughlin's former boss, special teams is in the front of his mind every week. Livid when Feely kicked it out of bounds. So the Eagles start with it at their own 40, down by 10. McMahon has played much better in this second half. Completes it to L.J. Smith. The tight end picks up 4. Our entire crew will be in Detroit for Thanksgiving. Early start this Thursday. The Atlanta Falcons right now are tied with Tampa Bay 2020, taking on the Detroit Lions, who at last check were trailing the Dallas Cowboys. 11:30 a.m. Eastern. Dallas up 20-7 over Detroit. 2nd down and 6. McMahon wide open is Brown. Reggie Brown, the rookie. Another big completion down inside the 35.
Well, protection pretty good right now for Mike McMahon, and Osi Umenyiora, who comes into this game wreaking a lot of havoc. They double team him up top and don't let him get any kind of pressure, and that's why Mike McMahon is able to step up and deliver the throw. And Reggie Brown, coming off, as we've talked about, a disappointing game a week ago, has really done a good job in this game.
First down at the New York 34. McMahon nowhere to go with it. Now fires to Westbrook. And Brian Westbrook is wrestled down by Deloach out of bounds, a gain of only 1.
You know, Mike McMahon, he just seems to really be settling in here in the 3rd quarter, and then now that we're into the 4th quarter. First half obviously started out pretty tough for him and a little bit rushed, but as we thought may be the case, the game has kind of slowed down for him as he's moved through the game and doing a heck of a job here, making some good decisions. That was a play on that last one that he could have very easily have forced something. A good job of coming underneath to the check down with Westbrook.
2nd down and 9. Westbrook gets it, and Brian picks up 1. Of all the scores that have flashed across our screen, I don't think there's any bigger opportunity than for the Chicago Bears to really establish themselves as a legitimate threat in the NFC, and they are up on Carolina, maintaining their lead. They've been up all day. That could be a huge win for the Bear organization.
Be a huge win for them, and then a very tough loss for Carolina because they currently have a 1-game lead in the South. But Chicago, I think, slowly starting to get people's attention, and they should, because that defense is playing outstanding. As long as they're playing as well as they are, they're going to have a chance in every game.
They just get the play away. McMahon has to step up, stays on his feet. Gonna try and run for it. Cuts it back and makes it. And that's exactly why McMahon got the nod instead of Coy Detmer. His athletic ability, his strength as he stayed up after a pretty big hit.
And Michael Strahan and O.C. Umenyiora collided there in the back. But, you know, we came into this game talking about the athleticism of Mike McMahon. We've been waiting to see it. I mean, that's unbelievable that he was even able to get away from that tackle. But then to move like he did here to even get into a position to pick up the first down, pretty unbelievable.
Made 4 guys miss on his 12-yard run. From the 20. Quick throw. Lewis. Out of bounds at the 15. And they're looking at Michael Strahan along the sideline. Playing better this year than Tim Lewis, his defensive coordinator, has ever seen him play.
Yeah, and every time that we've done a game of the Giants, when you talk to the opposing coaches, they say the exact same thing. And, you know, it's well documented he lost a lot of weight coming into this season. He's playing great, and he also looks like he's in a great deal of discomfort right now.
2nd down and 5. Westbrook kicks it to the outside. Westbrook cuts it up, and he's knocked down just shy of the goal line by inches. It'll be 1st and goal.
Well, they're finally able to get Westbrook a little bit of running room. They've had him bottled up pretty much throughout the day. But watch Reggie Brown. I'm impressed with the job that he's doing today, receiving and now as well as blocking. And, you know, because he's staying with the guy downfield, Curtis Deloach gives Westbrook some room to run. And I think it was a good call. Westbrook did not get into the end zone.
Strahan still out. 1st and goal for the Eagles. Down by 10. McMahon over the top. And the Eagles offense with McMahon at the controls has been able to do 2 times today what the opposition hasn't been able to do in 3 games against the Giants defense, and that is get into the end zone.
Yeah, and when you look back at this game and you think about the scoring drives that the Philadelphia Eagles have had, we saw the athletic play where he converted the 3rd down, and then on previous possession when they got the touchdown, what he overcame in terms of getting the ball down the field and completing some key passes to keep drives alive. He's done a heck of a job here in the second half of this game.
It's a 3-point Giant lead. A couple of plays ago, Michael Strahan went down. Rolling over that right ankle, could be a knee, whatever it is, getting a lot of attention on the sideline. Not in the lineup. The Eagles into the end zone, down 3.
Fox NFL Sunday is sponsored by Lowe's, where improving home improvement never ends.
Jose Cortez kicks it away for Philadelphia. Got into this one. It's out of the back of the end zone. Strahan, we understand, suffered a burner on that play in the backfield. That important 12-yard run by McMahon on 3rd and 8.
Well, you see him come in, and right there where he takes the hit as he's reaching out to get McMahon, and then him and O.C. Umenyiora run into each other. And, you know, initially it looked like it might have been, you know, he missed 8 games last year because of the pec injury, which required surgery. It looked like that might have been it again, but they're reporting it as just a burner. And, you know, that Eagles touchdown goes back to that ball that was kicked out of bounds there by Feely, and no wonder Coughlin was so upset when it happened.
Manning now with his team up 3, hits his fullback Finn, and he's got a 1st down as he fights through Sheldon Brown. One other point you could see on that replay, the clean shot that Fred Robbins had on Mike McMahon, and somehow the big body of Fred Robbins, all 6'4", 325, couldn't bring him down. 12 yards later, it's a 1st down. The big run by Westbrook, and then McMahon over the top to make it a 3-point game. It was a 3rd and 8 run by McMahon. Tiki Barber. Out to the 37, picked up 5.
You know, this becomes another one of those drives for this Eagles defense that, you know, again, your offense has gone down the field and come away with points and gotten yourselves right back into the game. And now it's important for Jim Johnson and this defensive team to come up with a way to stop the New York Giants. And they've not been able to do it so far when they've had to, but this is a very important drive for both teams.
Lito Shepherd out with a broken ankle. Roderick Hood is in his spot. Play action from Manning. Shockey looked like he might have been held, and Manning ends up going head first and getting popped by Michael Lewis, a gain of only 2. Looked like Shockey was going to be the intended target here.
Yeah, Shockey, he's blocking there, and then it was Javon Curse who just got by him. Shockey was not going out on the route. He was blocking and trying to stay in the entire time, but once Javon Curse got by him, then he turned and tried to see if maybe Eli Manning could flip him the ball.
Only 2 for 10 on 3rd down today are the Giants. Pass for Burris. Got behind Brown. Makes a move. Plexico, off he goes. Touchdown, no flags.
You know, give Eli Manning this New York Giants offense some credit. They've come back each time they've had to and put together a drive. The Eagles bring pressure, and again, they can't get to the quarterback, and just like last Monday night, pressure and then a double move by a receiver, this time Plexico Burris, and another touchdown.
Sheldon Brown beaten on the play. 61 yards from Manning to Burris. Again, it's a 10-point game. Plexico for 61 yards. Manning with a couple today. 3 touchdown throws for the young quarterback. Toomer, Shockey, and now Burris, all with touchdown receptions for Eli Manning. A career long, and this is 2nd year. 61-yard touchdown throw. On the return, it's Roderick Hood. Got to the 25 inches beyond, and that's where the Eagles will start with it.
You go back to that touchdown, and they're going to bring the blitz here off the edge, and then that's what leaves the one-on-one with Plexico Burris and Sheldon Brown. And when Sheldon Brown knows that they're blitzing, he's expecting a slant route because he thinks the quarterback has to get the ball out. He's cluing the quarterback. The ball does not get thrown on the slant. Burris runs the double move. And that's why Sheldon Brown bit, and that's why Plexico Burris was able to get the touchdown, just like what happened last Monday night with Lito Shepherd when he jumped the route and Terry Glenn scored the touchdown.
Longest play from scrimmage this season for the Giants. McMahon, L.J. Smith, the tight end. L.J. Smith showing a ton of athleticism with a hard run out to the 47. He hurdled a tackler and made it look easy.
And I'll tell you what, I mean, this is a heck of a ball game by both of these offensive teams now in the second half. As we said, in the first half, it was all defense. Now you've got 2 offenses that continually try to keep their team in the game, and the defenses have not been able to stop them.
Strahan is back in there for the Giants. McMahon fires. It's Brown. Can't hang on after he gets a hit from Brent Alexander. Pretty good throw there by Mike McMahon.
That was a heck of a throw. We've seen a lot of good throws by Mike McMahon here in this second half, and Reggie Brown had an opportunity. That one would have been tough. It went through about 3 defenders before it actually gets into the hands of Reggie Brown, but still, yeah, a ball that you need to catch.
Wow. McMahon has been so impressive this second half. It's 2nd down and 10. Putting it in McMahon's hands. He's got all day. Runs it into Giant territory and picked up 6. Corey Webster on the stop. It's 3rd down for Philadelphia.
I'll tell you what, Mike McMahon, he's really being afforded some great protection right now. And Strahan back in the game. You got Runyon, and now he is getting a little bit of help from L.J. Smith. But Mike McMahon, he had all day in the pocket, just couldn't get anybody loose.
Got 2 downs to try to get 4 yards, and McMahon is going to be 2 yards short. It's 4th down and 2. But obviously the Eagles, who are down by 10, are in a spot where they've got to press on. And Philadelphia will call a timeout and talk about it. Robbins and Clancy in on that last stop. And the Eagles have 2 timeouts remaining and a 4th and 2.
You know, when you look at that play, you know, Mike McMahon, it was a called quarterback draw, but he really just did not give it a chance to develop. You've got to come back, wait a minute, let the linemen set their blocks, but he went 3 steps and really rushed it. And yet, having said all that, had he have stayed to the right side of the center, he probably picks up the first down very easily.
The Philadelphia Eagles are one of 2 teams in the NFL without a 4th down conversion. The other team, Carolina, coming in 0 for 5 this season, and they need to convert here on 4th and 2 to realistically have a chance in this game, down by 10 points with 4 minutes to go and 2 timeouts left.
And generally the Eagles always run their routes just enough in order to pick up the first down. I'm not so sure I wouldn't try taking a shot, because the Giants know this. You've got to believe they're going to be sitting on these routes right at the markers for the first down.
McMahon fires, and the pass incomplete, and the Giants will take over on downs. Greg Lewis, the intended receiver. Brent Alexander was there defending for the Eagles, and with that, the Giants take over. They lead by 10. They've got the ball, and the Eagles, who came in thinking they had to win to have any hope of making the playoffs this season, it does not look good with a ball at the New York 45. And Tom Coughlin and the Giants able to breathe a little easier now after that stop. Certainly a tale of 2 halves from Mike McMahon. Started out slowly, but he has been impressive in this second half against a good defense. Barber running right. Got back to the line of scrimmage. That's it. Javon Curse on the tackle for the Eagles.
Well, now the Eagles will start using their timeouts that they've got left, and they know that the Giants are going to run the football and force them to do that. You know, the Eagles right now really need to do what they can to force a turnover and get the ball back into their offense's hands.
We'll take a break. 2nd down and 10 for New York with a ball at their own 45 when we come back. Plexico Burress could have the back-breaking touchdown for the Giants today against the Eagles. That 61-yarder. 2nd down and 10. They're going to throw it. Manning is forced to keep it, and he slides down back at the line of scrimmage. Lost a couple of inches. Trent Cole forced him, and the Eagles will spend their final timeout with 3 minutes 41 seconds left.
You know, we talked about the job that Mike McMahon did here in the second half, but how about the job that Eli Manning has done throughout the game? And you know, again, coming off of last week's performance, very frustrated, made some poor decisions. And even with all that, put his team in with an opportunity to win the game late in that game last week against the Vikings. But here today, every time the Eagles have done something that has made it look like maybe they're going to get back into the game, Eli and this offense have responded and been able to move the football down the field and come away with points. And I've just been real impressed, not only in this game, but throughout the season. Forget what his completion percentage is or some of the mistakes that he's made as a young quarterback. It seems that each week he gives his team an opportunity to win games. And in my opinion, that's ultimately how you judge quarterbacks.
It's 3rd down and 10. A toss to Barber. Tiki cuts it back up the middle. He's going to be brought down 2 yards shy of a first down. And that'll bring up 4th down and bring the punting team onto the field for the Giants. Tiki Barber gets up, hobbling.
Well, they've had a number of injuries in this game today. Interesting to see how serious a lot of them are. But I'll tell you what, Tiki Barber. Not that you want to lose anybody, but he's the last guy you can lose on this football team with everything that he does.
I think we've said it maybe twice already this season while we've been doing other games and looking at highlights of the Giants. I still think even playing in New York, he's one of the most underrated players in the NFL, and they just cannot lose Tiki Barber. Eagles kicks it, and a fair catch called for by Westbrook. We have had some action in this second half after a lackluster first half. Reggie Brown with his second touchdown in his rookie season. Shockey, his only catch of the day to that point, good for a touchdown. And then this 12-yard scamper on 3rd and 8 by Mike McMahon, then up over the top. Made it a 3-point game until Plexico Burress went 61 yards on the reception from Eli Manning to make it 27-17. And that's where it is right now. McMahon from the shotgun. Eagles start from their own 10. McMahon throws for L.J. Smith. And he's brought down by Will Allen. Gain of only 4.
Well, with no timeouts and then down 10, you've got to move pretty quickly, knowing that you've got to get a touchdown and then an onside kick and then still go down the field and try to get a field goal to tie this thing up.
2nd down and 5. McMahon's going to run it. Can't get around Jabril Wilson. And half a yard short of a first down is McMahon. Rapidly approaching the 2-minute warning.
And Mike McMahon not doing a very good job of getting a play off prior to the 2-minute warning.
That's it. 2 minutes left. The ball they have marked at the 20. 2 minutes to go at Giant Stadium. 2 minutes left after initially saying, if you look at the second half offense and how it has been a complete reversal of what we saw in the first half. Initially, when we were on our way out at the 2-minute warning, they had the ball marked a little shy of first down yardage. Then the ball was scooted forward. It's a first down at the 20 for Philadelphia. Down by 10, only 2 minutes left, and no timeouts for the Eagles. McMahon over the middle. L.J. Smith with a catch. The Eagles right now are staring at an 0-4 start within their own division and a 1-5 record against the NFC.
I really felt that if they were going to get back into it, they needed to win last Monday night's game against Dallas. And
McMahon just does get rid of it to Westbrook. Boy, is he fun to watch. He is into Giants territory. Strahan and Euro with a ton of pressure on McMahon. They drilled him as Mike let it go. 13-yard completion, first down.
When you talk about if they go on to lose this game, what that means to them, and I think it's going to be awfully hard for them.
Over the middle, L.J. Smith again. Down to the 31. Eagles trying to hurry up and get lined up again. We welcome in a new audience joining us with 59 seconds left. The Eagles, who are off to a 4-5 start, trying to get the ball down the field into the end zone, then get the ball back. You look at the game summary, a first half that was dominated by the two defenses. Mike McMahon has had a strong second half, taking over as the starter for Donovan McNabb. But right now it's 27-17. The Giants on top. On 2nd down and 10, the pass complete to L.J. Smith. And L.J. Smith has another Philadelphia first down.
And when they clock the ball, they're almost better off if they call 2 plays in the huddle to help preserve time.
And it looks like they might have after that last clocking of it into the end zone. And despite contact down there with Corey Webster, Reggie Brown cannot make a play on the ball. It's 2nd down and 10.
I think when you get into a situation like this, now that they're able to huddle up, if Mike McMahon can make 2 calls in the huddle, and that way after this first play, if the ball is complete and the clock's still running, guys immediately go to the line knowing what the next play is. He doesn't have to communicate that then, and you're able to save quite a bit of time by not having to talk at the line.
2nd down and 10. McMahon, Westbrook, and those two did not communicate well on that throw. Westbrook broke to the inside. McMahon threw it to the outside. It's 3rd down and 10. I think when you look back on this game, the Giants showed off their weapons today with Eli Manning, Amani Toomer, Jeremy Shockey, Tiki Barber, Plexico Burress, all a big part of putting 27 points on the board against this Eagle defense.
Well, and that's what helps. When you look at the teams that are being successful in this league, they're teams that have more than 1 or 2 weapons to get the ball to.
Pass is incomplete. Good effort by Reggie Brown, who has been impressive in this second half. He was popped by Alexander. It's 4th down. And by the way, as you look at this incompletion, Giants fans I know are wondering about the health of Tiki Barber, who limped off the field after the last possession. They looked at his foot. They say he's fine, so at least the early indication is he's okay. Now on 4th down, needing 2 scores.
Hang on.
The Eagles are going to attempt a 37-yarder by David Akers.
Yeah, this is the right call by Andy Reid, knowing that you've got to get a touchdown and a field goal at some point in order to tie it.
Akers missed it, and this game is over. Any hope of a comeback is gone after Akers hooks it from 37 yards. And as this game is over, Eagles fans who came in thinking it had to be a win today against the Giants to stay alive in the NFC East are probably thinking any hopes of being in the playoffs are over. As you look at the Eagles, who will slide to 4-6. Dallas and the Giants still tied atop the division at 7-3. The Redskins playing late.
And you kind of wonder what exactly this means for the Eagles. I mean, as far as what it means for this season, I mean, it's going to be almost impossible for them to have a chance to get into the playoffs. But what does it mean to them as they move into next year? And you look back at those opportunities in these championship games over the last 4 years. Of course, last year going on and playing in the Super Bowl and not being able to take advantage of some of those chances. You don't know if they're going to get another opportunity. Certainly doesn't look like they'll get that opportunity this year.
Late in their game, Washington and Oakland tied at 13 with 1:17 to go. And Oakland with the football. Meanwhile, the Eagles, that look says it all. A long day and a battle here at Giants Stadium. The Giants get the win over the Philadelphia Eagles. It had been 4 straight for Philadelphia over the Giants. New York snaps that with a 10-point win, 27-17 over the Eagles. Take a break and come back right after this. It's a 10-point win for the Giants, who move to 7-3 as they beat the Eagles, now 4-6. 27-17, our UPS leaderboard looks like this. Eli Manning had a nice day after a rough Sunday last week against the Vikings. 218 yards, 3 touchdowns, no interceptions through 4 last week. Tiki Barber 112 yards on the ground, and Plexico Burress not only 113 yards on the day, but a 61-yarder for our Lipitor play of the game. Longest touchdown throw of the young career of Eli Manning. Plexico Burress went 61 yards. That made it 27-17, and that is how it ended. The Giants gave up more yards today than the last 3 games combined, but win by 10 over the Eagles. This is Joe Buck for Troy Aikman and Pam Oliver. So long from the Meadowlands, where the Giants win it by 10. The UPS, rather the post-game show is coming up. JB, Terry, Howie, and Jimmy